And what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Manga Grove. My name is Krisha, and today I have a special treat in store for you. That's right, I do. Now, a couple of days ago, I was going through the Mango Seed program, and while going through the program, I couldn't help but think that damn, it's such a shame that some of you in the manga community are not able to go through this journey with us. So it got Shawn and I thinking that perhaps at the very least, we could put out a couple of lessons from the Seed program. Now, of course, this Mango Seed program is, I think, roughly about 35 to 40 hours long, but it kind of makes sense because I think the way Shawn has designed it, he's designed it so that he can take a beginner trader and transition them to an advanced level. So that kind of warrants the time. But I'll be picking out lessons that, we kind of reference in our daily videos very, very often. Now, in today's lesson, the one that I have planned out is actually going to be, let's have a drum roll, and it's going to be an introduction to the Ichimoku. Now, the Ichimoku Cloud we reference in almost all of our daily videos. We use it very, very extensively. And the number one question that Shawn and I have received on the Ichimoku is, well, what is it? Right? What do the lines mean? What does the cloud mean? And what is it trying to tell us? And that last question is a rather important one. So I'm going to let Shawn tell you what is the Ichimoku Cloud really trying to tell us. So sit back and enjoy this one.
Alright, so let's get started. In this section, I want to give you guys a brief introduction on the Ichimoku. It's going to be a very simple and laid back section where we'll be discussing the history on how the Ichimoku came to be, who created it, right? How it came to be. It's actually a fun little story that in a way connects actually strongly to our candlestick analysis module. We'll then talk about what kind of information the Ichimoku is telling us. It gives us a lot of information, but what kind of information is it really giving us? We'll discuss that. We won't go into anything in depth. That we'll keep for the next section where we'll discuss the components of the Ichimoku and talk about each of them individually. But for now, let's go ahead and discuss the history of the Ichimoku and how it came to be. And here we have it, the Ichimoku. No surprise, is yet another Japanese creation. Just like our candlesticks that we discussed in our first modules of this program, the Ichimoku has been created by a Japanese man named Goichi Hosada. Remember, the candlesticks were created, right? They were invented by Monisa Homma all the way back in the 1700s. The Ichimoku, comparatively, is a lot newer. It was created in between 1930 to 1960s. It was actually a creation over 30 years, right? So a lot of time, a lot of effort was put into this. And interestingly enough, Goichi Hosada and Monisa Homma shared a lot of similarities. If you guys do remember, we discussed how Monisa Homma was a merchant, right? And he traded the rice markets, correct? Similarly, Goichi Hosada was also involved in the rice markets, not as a merchant, but as a journalist, right? He used to cover a lot of content in regard to the pricing of the rice markets. So, similar to how Monisa Homma realized that there were repeated patterns that he could take advantage of in the rice markets, Goichi Hosada also noticed certain things that he wanted to take advantage of. Now, again, just like how Monisa Homma came up with elaborate ways to take advantage of the pricing of the rice markets, Goichi Hosada put in similar efforts, right? Stories say that he gathered like a bunch of students, I think like 100 students or something like that, ridiculous, and he got them all together, gathered them all together, chained their desk up. He didn't chain them, he chained their desks together and essentially created a supercomputer, a human supercomputer of sorts, where he tasked them all to formulating and coming up with the most optimal system to actually trade the rice markets with the information that they were able to gather from all the coverage that they were doing through their journalism anyways, right? So this actually took a period of 30 years to come up with the Ichimoku. Now, Remember guys, the Ichimoku isn't just one single indicator. It is a combination of several components put together to develop a system to trade the markets. And we'll talk about that more in detail. So what does it actually tell us? What was the purpose of all of this? Essentially, Koichi Hosada wanted to come up with a system that allowed him to look at the charts, look at the graphical representation of what all the indicators, all the components were telling him, and get a one glance analysis of the market, right? A quick look, a glimpse. That's essentially what the term Ichimoku stands for. And he was able to do this. It took a lot of time, took a lot of effort, 30 years in its creation, and he came up with the Ichimoku that when he put it together onto the pricing of an asset, he was able to decipher a quick analysis of the market. And that is powerful, guys. That is powerful. A lot of people look at the Ichimoku, they see the mess and they get scared away, right? But in truth, the entire point of that mess is to give you a simple explanation, which is why it is very perfect for our Mango way of doing things. Okay, now because he put this together, because he was able to come up with a way to get a one glance look, one glance analysis of the market, stories say that he came to be known as the man in the mountain, right? Essentially, it's kind of like how we talk about on our daily videos every single time. Don't forget the bigger picture, guys. Don't forget to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, which is why we look at the higher time frames. Well, when you're sitting on top of the mountain and looking at the entire world, that's you looking at the bigger picture, right? So I like how it all ties into a lot of what we talk about on a daily basis in our daily videos, and also the philosophy of the Mango way of doing things, the stress-free way of doing things, right? And what could be more stress-free than being able to sit on a mountain and with one quick glimpse, one quick glance at the landscape, being able to decipher a lot of important information that a lot of other people might be missing because they're deep in all the mess, all the chaos of the regular day-to-day grind, right? And that's what the Ichimoku tells us. It gives us important information very, very clearly and simply, avoiding a lot of the mess. So what information is this? What information is the Ichimoku giving us that we could use to our advantage? Well, it essentially gives us key support and resistance levels. It gives us the trend and the momentum of the price of the market. And more importantly, this is the big one, it tells us whether the markets are in equilibrium, are they in balance, or are they in disequilibrium. All of this put together provides a quick glance, a quick story of what an asset is doing, of what an entire market is doing, in fact. And it could give you a lot of advantages, a lot of edge over other traders in the market. It can tell you when to stay with the trend, when to be cautious, when to be taking trades quickly in and out. A lot of information. And this is where a lot of people get thrown off. People think that the Ichimoku should be used all together at once or none at all, right? They look at the big mess and like, oh man, I can't touch this. That's not true at all. If you do it the Mango way, if you do it the way we're going to teach for the rest of the module now, right, you can essentially cherry pick the kind of information that you want to use that fits your personality as a trader. And hey, who knows, maybe all of the information fits your personality perfectly, and the entire Ichimoku as a system can be used as a holistic system that you can incorporate. Well, that's for you to decide. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this section. I'll see you guys in the next section, where we'll be covering an overview of the components of the Ichimoku one by one. I'll see you there.
And there you have it, a nice brief history and an introduction on the Ichimoku Cloud. Now, Shawn and I will be coming out with more of these little mango seed treats. I like that, mango seed treats. And, well, hey, it may be from the Ichimoku module, or it may be from some other of the 12 modules that we have out here. Now, we haven't decided yet, but if you want to be alerted on the next little treat that comes out, make sure to hit that bell icon. That way you're the first one to know. All right, with this, guys, trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the Mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao.